Patrick, hit us with some stats, won't you?
This movie was released on October 22nd, 1999, which is coincidentally my wife and I's anniversary. So, yeah.
Nice.
Nice going, Martin Scorsese. It had a budget of $32 million, but only made back 16.8, which is pretty bad as far as Scorsese is concerned. He has a tendency to work in kind of like arty, art house type movies, which generally don't make a ton at the box office. They're more of like, cult classics, rentals, that kind of stuff. People who are going to sit there and just meticulously go through them. Kind of like this movie. We're going to go meticulously through this movie. Of course, it was directed by the great Martin Scorsese, but it was written by Paul Schrader, who, among his many, many credits, he has done 4 movies with Martin Scorsese. Taxi Driver, which might be the best Scorsese movie of all time. Raging Bull, which might be the second best Scorsese movie of all time, depending on where Goodfellas lands on your list. There's a lot of them at this point that could land in that top 5. I know, I think it was Nigel, you were talking about Gangs of New York, that you didn't really like it, but Gangs of New York, I love that movie. Love that movie. Last Temptation of Christ, and of course, Bringing Out the Dead. So 4 movies. This is the last one that Paul Schrader has worked with Scorsese on, and maybe the performance and overall subdued response to this movie, which I feel like we all kind of had the same sort of subdued, like, all right, kind of response to it. Yeah. It was based, of course, on a book by Joe Connolly, called Bringing Out the Dead. And Joe Connolly worked as a paramedic in New York City during early 90s, the kind of the worst time. You could go back to the 70s, 80s. Things were bad in New York City, and then they kind of got cleaned up. But yeah, everything that happens in the movie is based on a true story. Based on his life and based on the paramedics around him. So he kind of took a broad strokes collection of paramedics that he knew and his own story and threw them into a stew and kind of made a fictionalized version of the shit that he had to go through as a paramedic in New York. 121 minutes, which is actually kind of a short movie for Martin Scorsese. As we talked about offline, we were talking about The Irishman and just what a absolute slog that movie is. Like 4 hours long, could have been about an hour and a half, I think. And it just creepy blue eyes from Robert De Niro the whole movie, and weird de-aging where he looks like a 70-year-old man kind of dressed up like a 20-year-old, but not looking like a 20-year-old at all. Too bad Nick Cage isn't in that movie, so we could rip it apart.
Watch that one.
Yeah. This movie was shot, I didn't realize until I looked it up, but this movie was shot by the legendary Robert Richardson, who, amongst his many credits himself, 7 Scorsese movies, 11 Oliver Stone movies, and 6 Quentin Tarantino movies. 10 total Academy Award nominations, 3 total wins. On my list of, my favorite directors of photography, he's probably only second to like Roger Deakins, who shot a lot of the Coen Brothers movies, and he's been working with Denis Villeneuve recently, like The Arrival and the new Blade Runner movie. He's shooting the new Dune movie. So, yeah. As far as ratings are concerned, so Bringing Out the Dead got a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. It's pretty solid. 6.70 out of 10. That's based on 109 reviews. By the way, this is going to date this podcast, but did you see that Citizen Kane got bumped down from 100% because of a review that they
found an old review.
Just added in from like the 30s or whatever. Wow. Yeah. It was no longer 100%.
Unwatchable now.
Yeah. Fuck that
Truly
movie.
unwatchable.
No longer the top movie of all time. Metacritic score was about the same, 70%, and the audience score was also 70%. So on the whole, people liked it, but didn't love it, which I feel like that's kind of our sentiment as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm.